college. Additionally, you've got to beg a bunch of snot-filled teenagers to come save your football program. And so that's what you got. The bottom line on this, Colin Kaepernick, he ought to hope that Jim Harbaugh returns to San Francisco. Let's just say a new coaching staff might not be as infatuated with the currently overrated 49er signal caller. And furthermore, the entire roster would be under the spotlight, and not the good kind of spotlight. They're better off with Jim Harbaugh. You're always better off with the known commodity than the unknown commodity. There's a fear factor involved. And the unfortunate reality is, and this has been proven, I've worked in radio, same thing happens in radio, we change bosses. Only the truly good bosses are willing to look at their talent, and, from a football standpoint, and can swallow their pride and realize, hey, we've got good players, let's keep them. Most coaches come in, and they, much like a dog marking its territory, they want to make their mark. And so whoever replaces Jim Harbaugh in San Francisco, this is what I'm trying to get to, whoever replaces Harbaugh, when that day comes, when the Grim Reaper comes in and Harbaugh's gone, then the first signature move would likely be bring your old quarterback. Your old quarterback. If it's an old quarterback, you should coach, whoever it is. Colin Kaepernick knows that the bullseye is going to fall on his back if Jim Harbaugh exits. And imagine if the sky does start to fall there and the fears become reality. The 49ers turn into a second division team, and the Rams are moving to L.A. next year likely. You're going to have the L.A. Rams. There'll be more money there to spend on players. And maybe the Cardinals will actually get a quarterback. Seattle should be pretty good next year. And then the 49ers start. Check in on the Facebook fan page. We're all over that social media. Ben Maller Show. That's Ben Maller Show on the Facebook fan page. Is there a chance? I want to move away from this Kaepernick story. Eddie Garcia, is there a chance that the Philadelphia 76ers could end up like 2-8? Are they that bad if they end up at 2? They got to win a game. I'm playing it up, but could they win like just 2 games? Is that a possibility legitimately, Eddie Garcia?
Even as horrific as they are, I got to think at least 5 wins. Yeah.
The record,
that's terrible. That's god awful.
The record in an 82-game season is 9. So that's like the gold standard. Here's the odd thing about the Philadelphia 76ers. I was going to save this to another time, but I want to get it out of the way right now. The Philadelphia 76ers, Eddie, if you would bet on the Philadelphia 76ers every single game, right? If you would put your money on the Sixers every single game, you're not that bad off. You don't have a winning record, but they're only 2 games under 500 against the spread, which tells you 2 things. It tells you the spreads are outrageous, and even though they're not winning, they're kind of hanging around close enough.
Where are you on this Kentucky versus the Sixers?
Sixers would beat them by 30 points.
Really?
Absolutely. Professional basketball players.
Yeah, but they're barely professional basketball players.
Kentucky has 2 lottery picks on their current roster. They have maybe 2 other kids that will be drafted in the first round projected. So they've got 4 first-round picks on their team.
How many first-round picks do the Sixers have?
The problem, the Sixers have Nerlens Noel. They've got a bunch of guys but they're all hurt. That's the problem. They got a bunch of guys that were drafted in the first round, lottery picks, and they've got a mix of guys that were undrafted also. But Kentucky's got a bunch of those guys, too. And John Calipari's a terrible NBA coach.
So who's the coach of the Sixers?
What's that? Some guy named Brown.
Yeah.
Never heard of him.
He should be coaching a high school team. Well, actually, some would say
never heard of him. Exactly. All right, very good. And later this hour, now, not coming up in a bit, but later in the hour, the final edition Oh, stay awake with
You don't want to miss this, people.
It's a piece of radio history. Someday you'll be able to tell your grandkids, I was there huddled around the radio or my phone on iHeartRadio, and I recall that day. Well, an NFL player has turned a commercial into a myth-building opportunity, and no one seems to have noticed. Not a single man, woman, or child. We'll get to the bottom of that. We'll do it next.
Here's the deal. It's the holiday.
This is a big deal.
And when you go for those deals...
How much is my deal worth?
Take us with you.
It's the iHeartRadio app.
From the car, straight through to your smartphone.
Go to iHeartRadio.com.
iHeartRadio.
Never miss us this holiday season.
Happy holidays.
On Fox Sports Radio.
I'm Sergeant Audrey Santana. This is Soldiers Radio News. Thanksgiving is right around the corner, and safety expert Charles Bowering shares a few tips on deep frying your bird.
You're going to have to keep any type of children away from it, any type of animals, and you're going to have to literally watch this turkey fryer cook.
Cindy McKnight-Smith, a nurse for the Army, tells us as a civilian what it means to be a part of the Army profession.
I work side by side with the active duty military. I oversee active duty military, and we are one team, and it reflects in everything we do every day. We grow together, we work together, we manage everything together, and we're a cohesive unit.
Soldiers of the 1st Cavalry Division will rotate to locations in Eastern Europe through the end of the year as part of Operation Atlantic Resolve, and those rotations could continue even longer into the foreseeable future. November is National Military Family Month. Service members share why they appreciate their military families.
They motivate me to accomplish things that I've never thought that I really could.
Those currently serving with me, I thank you for being a motivation each and every day to do what we do.
They're the support that not a lot of people can have, and I'm lucky to have.
So right now, the military is the only family that I have.
Sergeant Major of the Army Raymond Chandler visited Camp Zama, Japan, and had this to say about what he's focused on right now.
For me, as the Sergeant Major of the Army, it's really about sexual assault and suicide and what we can do as soldiers to help prevent it.
The U.S. Army in Europe plans to change the on-post emergency dialing number on all USER installations to 112 starting January 1st. That's your Soldiers Radio News.
To keep our military and nation financially strong, we have to guard against fraud, waste, and abuse. Consider this real-life example. The DoD IG received a call that an agency charged excessive fees on a unit. An audit revealed policies were needed to document expenses. As a result of the call and investigation, the agency found ways to save millions every year. Report fraud, waste, and abuse through your chain of command. If you can't, use the DoD IG hotline, dodig.mil/hotline.
Man, it's gotta be around here somewhere.
A missing ID card. It can happen to the best of us. If you lose or have your government ID stolen, remember to report it immediately to your chain of command and the MPs. If you don't, it can represent a serious breach in security. Because a lost ID in the wrong hands can give anyone the power to essentially become you.
Access granted.
Help keep out terrorists. Report missing government IDs as soon as possible.
Then I called Mulder. Thanks for sharing. Larry, would you like to address the group?
Hi, I'm Larry, and I'm a designated driver.
Hi, Larry.
Well, it's been 2 weeks since my last drive, and I just wanted to say how satisfying it's been to be thought of as the responsible one in my group of friends. But I'm starting to feel like, next time we go out, maybe I'd like to have a drink or two. Is that weird?
No, you shouldn't have to be the designated driver all the time. Switch off. Agree on who's going to be the guy before you head out, and over time, everyone gets to share in the fun. And the responsibility.
When the group's going out for a few drinks, always pick a designated driver. It's the responsible thing to do.
General George C. Marshall is considered by many to be America's premier soldier during World War II. As Chief of Staff, he was responsible for raising, training, and equipping one of the largest armed forces in history. Winston Churchill hailed him as the conflict's true architect of victory. After the war, as a diplomat and United States Secretary of State, Marshall helped develop an unprecedented program of economic and military aid to foreign nations. He frequently appeared before Congress in support of his ideals.
But there's no doubt whatever in my mind that if we decide to do this thing, we can do it successfully. And there's also no doubt in my mind that the whole world hangs in the balance.
The Marshall Plan helped lead the way to the formation of NATO and the European Common Market and earned him the Nobel Peace Prize. He was the only U.S. Army general so honored. George C. Marshall, an American patriot.
Pay attention, stupids. When you need us, you got us.
Oh my God, we hit the mother load.
iHeartRadio.
It is cool as crap.
We're everywhere.
How did you find out about that station?
Just search Fox Sports Radio.
Stand by on this frequency.
Download us.
Oh.
And bam.
Awesome.
Awesome. iHeartRadio.
That's real nice. Yeah, that sounds good. Y'all ready for this?
This Thanksgiving, catch semifinal action of the Las Vegas Invitational College Hoops Tournament on Fox Sports 1. First at 5 p.m. Eastern, Illinois takes on Indiana State.
Y'all ready for this?
Then at midnight, Baylor battles Memphis.
Biggie.
It is now easier than ever to become a member of the Maller Militia. Just follow Ben on Twitter. He's at Ben Maller. And you can follow our technical producer, Jake Warner. He's at Big Brother Jake.
Jake Warner was at the controls.
And now, back to Ben Maller.
We'll have a new game, Too Much or Not Enough, as opposed to an old game, a new game, Too Much or Not Enough, coming up a little bit later in the hour. People upset said, hey, Ben, you gave the against the spread numbers earlier this hour of the 76ers, but you didn't mention the Clippers numbers. I am aware that from a gambling standpoint, the Los Angeles Clippers have a worse record than the Philadelphia 76ers, which is amazing, but they've not done well from a wagering standpoint. Clippers are 4-9 against the wise guys in Vegas. I believe the Pistons and the Knicks are the worst. I think the Knicks are the worst in the NBA. They're 4-11 against the spread. Last I checked, I think that's the worst in the NBA if you're into such things. Speaking of the NBA, a well-known NBA star, some calling him a legend, is in a place I like to call denial. We'll get to that coming up in a bit, but right now we say hello to No Job Jr., who's in Seattle on the Ben Maller Show. Hello, No Job Jr.
Well, what's cracking, Big Radio? You know we're going to keep it 100% true tonight, all true and real. Can you feel me?
I can hear you. There's not a lot of feeling going on.
Oh, okay. You either feel me or you trying to kill me. You decide, Big Ben. But what I want to get to tonight, number one, you know what, just off topic from the Seahawks right now, I want to say I'm super disappointed that Big Bro Jake and Stay Awake with Jake is leaving the show. That's like my number one dude on the show. And, you know, I just want to say, big ups to you, Jake. Holla at you. And, you know, we'll be seeing you on the flip side, man. Sorry to see you go. And that whole plagiarism bit last week, man, that was kind of a funny issue to have on the air you guys had in between RG and Jake. But, listen, did you see all the Ben foolery going on tonight or today earlier with Mr. Sherm and Cardboard Doug Baldwin?
Did I see it? It received the full Maller monologue treatment earlier. The full monologue. We were on right now. You go to Subway hours, Imagine, Junior. Are you aware that our man Doug Baldwin's trying to sell you Subway sandwiches? Were you aware of that?
I'm gonna tell you what. Tonight, when I heard your monologue around 11 p.m., I was driving around Renton and Kent, you know, doing my thing, you know, trying to get my hustle on. You know, I got to put in work. But you know what? I seen Doug Baldwin inside of every Subway. He was inside of every Subway, smiling at me, and he looked exactly the same as Cardboard Doug Baldwin at the press conference. I couldn't believe it.
How much would it?
All those Subways.
What if I wanted to buy one of those cardboard cutouts of Doug Baldwin? How much would that cost me? Are those for sale? Robert, check
oh, man,
to see
I'll get you one for $29.99.
$29.99.
Send me the money. I got one shipped out to you ASAP.
You know I'm good for it. Absolutely.
Hey, you got credit with me, Big Ben. Don't trip. Hey, and also a few other Big Ben. You know, that's how we like to get it in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear
but you know what? I'll tell you what. It's really kind of foolish that they're going to try to force him to say stuff that he doesn't want to say, then expect anything different than what came out, the other day, right?
Well, listen, he made a mockery of it. There's different things. All you got to do is be like Rasheed Wallace. Both teams played hard, my man. Just repeat that.
Both teams play hard, Big Ben. Hey, but you want to know what I think is not hard and is not cool?
What's that?
And who's a clown? And who is not the Rookie Caller of the Year? That's Hollering James. He's a clown, man. I'm the Rookie Caller of the Year through Benny Radio.
Well, you're in the running now. For those that are curious, our producing staff here, Jake's leaving, but Robert, we're coming up with the year-end situation because it's an award show, and I hate award shows, so I thought we'd mock award shows.
I'm the Rookie Caller of the Year, not James. He's a clown. And so one thing before I go, I want to say big shout-out to the #1 star on the 76ers. That's Tony Roden. Big shout-out to the 206, Tony Roden. He is my rival, seeing as he went to Garfield, and he's a Bulldog, and I went to Franklin. FQ. We break the G over here at Franklin, you feel me? But other than that, I want to say peace out. Thanks for having me on. Hey, and always thanks to big bro Jake. He really, it really is sad to see him go.
Junior.
But
Get a job, man.
Hawks. Come on!
Get a job.
There you go. No job. He covered a lot of material. Lots. It's great. Now what we're going to have is people fighting over being Caller of the Year. Doc Mike claims he's won that award more than anybody. Even though we've never given it to him, he thinks every year that he's the Caller of the Year. Doc Mike, who calls from Chicago right now, is in some third world country somewhere, and he'll come back to America in the next couple of weeks. He'll call the show and point out that he's the Caller of the Year, even though we've talked to him, I think, twice in the last 7 months, but it's kind of how that works. It is the Ben Maller Show on Fox. Now, I have to give complete and total credit to an NFL player who did a commercial and made everyone say what a great guy he is. And I'm talking about J.J. Watt. Let me explain. Now, J.J. Watt, not only is he a defensive star for the Houston Texans, he is a maven of social media, a maven of marketing. J.J. Watt, as the legend goes, J.J. Watt bought pizza for the firefighters and police officers of Houston, Texas. And how do we know this? I'll tell you how we know this. Several local officers and their kids tweeted out photos of the pizza pies with a letter, a hand-signed letter from J.J. Watt, hooking up the police and the fire department in Houston. Now, what could possibly be wrong about that? Well, I did a little digging, and I discovered that it turns out the Houston Texans defensive end, J.J. Watt, is a spokesman for Papa John's Pizza. There's a weekly contest in which a customer in Houston wins a pizza party with the delivery being made by, yes, J.J. Watt. So really what J.J. Watt did was a little product placement. He realized, hey, I'm a big deal in Houston. I'm a big deal in the NFL. You think he paid for those pizzas? I know he can afford to pay for the pizzas. You think he actually paid for those pizza pies? Not that it matters, but it was obviously a product placement. It's like, hey, let's send some pizza out to the firefighters, the police officers, which is the right thing to do, right? But an ulterior motive. Make sure you mention the name of the pizza. Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. An NBA star is in denial. But first, we're going to play Too Much or Not Enough. That's in 60 seconds. We need a contestant for Too Much or Not Enough. 877-99 on Fox if you would like to play. First come, first serve. 877-99 on Fox. Too Much or Not Enough. We'll get to that. Right now, though, let's find out what's trending.
This update update is brought to you by TrueCar.com. TrueCar.com is changing car buying forever. Users get negotiation-free guaranteed savings and enjoy a hassle-free buying experience. Save time, save money, and never overpay. Visit TrueCar.com today. In the NFL, according to multiple reports, the Washington Redskins have decided to bench quarterback Robert Griffin III. They'll start Colt McCoy on Sunday against Indianapolis. In college football, the latest playoff rankings, the top four remains unchanged. Alabama's number one, followed by Oregon, Florida State, and Mississippi State. In the NBA, the Nuggets down the Bulls 114-109. Chicago loses the game and again loses star guard Derrick Rose. This time he re-injured a hamstring. He's listed as day-to-day. Warriors knock off the Heat 114-97. Golden State's 11-2 now on the year. They're a half game back of Memphis and Toronto for the best record in the NBA. College basketball, top-ranked Kentucky cruises to another win to beat Texas Arlington 92-44. I'm Eddie Garcia.
We are
This is
The One is on.
Fox Sports 1.
I know you want me, you know I want you.
America's new sports network.
Go to FoxSports1.com to find the channel number for Fox Sports 1 in your area.
The Ben Maller Show is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. And now coming to you live from the Geico Fox Sports Radio studios, here's Ben Maller.
It appears the Maller monologue at the top of this hour, the 4 a.m. in the East Hour, the 1 a.m. in the West Hour, has annoyed a 49er fan. Guy writes in, slow news night, you're the biggest Niner hater. Colin Kaepernick's better than Brian Hoyer. I don't disagree with that. I think that's an accurate statement. I believe that's an accurate statement. The guy in Rock City, New York says that Kaepernick's better than Hoyer. Yeah. Well, Brian Hoyer is like the 30th best quarterback in the NFL, so that's not saying much. Jason says, I am certain I am not getting Caller of the Year. I've never called the Ben Maller Show. Yeah. That would be funny, though, if we decided to give the Caller of the Year to someone who didn't call the show, right? That would be pretty cool, right? Imagine that. Be out of the box. It's all about mocking award shows, the Bennies. Honoring the great late comedian Jack Benny. That's what we're doing. Legend. Back in the day. No? Apparently not.
It's another Ben Maller game.
We've endured too many of these.
Is it too much or not enough?
Enough already.
Yep, another Ben Maller game. That's what it is. All right, here we go. Too much or not enough? Let's get right into it. We go now to Calgary, home of the Flames and home of John, who is going to be our contestant for Too Much or Not Enough. Now, John, are you old enough to remember when the Flames actually had a good team?
Oh, I was. I was there for the 86 run. I was there for the 89 Stanley Cup. I was there for the 2000 job against Tampa Bay.
Nice.
And I just want to give a little shout-out to the CFL. The Calgary Stampeders played against the Hamilton Tiger Cats in the Grey Cup this Sunday in Vancouver.
The championship of the Great White North is on the line. You understand the importance of that game? Absolutely. All right. Now, John, tell the guy right now driving around over in Vancouver what you do for a living.
I am actually, weirdly enough, a sommelier and concierge. So if you need a bottle of wine, I will be the man to tell you about it.
So if you're a wino, this guy John will hook you up. He knows the good stuff, I think.
I will indeed.
All right, very good. Well, let's get to it. Have you heard the game before, John? Are you familiar with the mechanics of the game?
I am indeed, Ben.
Okay, good. All right, very cool. Thank you, John. All right, here's the way it works for you listening. You might not have heard this. The way it works, Too Much or Not Enough, we'll ask you a series of questions. Every question, you have a 50-50 chance of getting right. It's kind of like back when you were in school and the yes, no, true, false kind of situation where you just kind of guess and sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't. If you get 4 out of 7 right, John, you win our game. 4 out of 7. If you go 7 for 7, you become the answer to a trivia question because no one's ever joined that exclusive 50-50 club. We've had a couple people get very close, but no one's been able to do it. Are you ready, John?
I am ready. And the only thing I want to say about a 50-50 shot is that every time you have a 50-50 shot of getting it right, there's a 90% chance you get it wrong.
All right. I like this guy. Let's get it going. Here we go. We'll start with question one. Why don't we start with question one? We'll do that right now. Here we go. Ravens running back Justin Forsett currently leads all running backs with 6.1 yards per carry on average. Is that too much or not enough?
I don't even think about that. I say that is too much.
You are correct. You got that right. It's a good job by you. The answer is too much. The correct answer, Justin Forsett of the Ravens averaging 5.8 yards, still tops among all running backs in the NFL. You got one right. Here we go. Question number 2 for John in Calgary. Question 2. New Orleans Saints quarterback Drew Brees has already had 5 interceptions returned for touchdowns this season. Is that too much or not enough?
I'm going to go not enough.
Well, there's bad news and good news. The bad news is you got it wrong. The good news is you don't have to worry about the pressure of going 7 for 7 because you're not going to go 7 for 7. The answer is,
thank God.
I know. The answer is too much. Drew Brees has 3 interceptions that have been returned for touchdowns, pick 6. Second most in the NFL behind immortals like Blake Bortles and Austin Davis, who are tied with 4. So you got one right, one wrong.
Enough.